started, we're gonna move through a warm-up, then we're gonna go into our mobility, into a little bit of stability. For today, our stability is just with a band, so feel free if you have one at home to use it, if not, no need. And then we'll go into our flexibility and our cool down. Feel free to grab water at any point during the class. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started with our warm-up. So we're gonna just start with some head circles, dropping those arms on down. We're gonna just roll our head from side to side. Just going from that shoulder, making sure those arms are dropped down. Now we're gonna go with those arm circles. So we're gonna go nice back. Getting a good stretch in that chest, getting some blood flowing. And switching those directions. And just shaking out those arms. We're gonna reach up nice and tall. Reach for that sky. And we're folding on down. Reaching for those toes. And we're gonna pedal out those feet. We wanna bend and straighten those knees. Let yourself sink deeper into the stretch. Good, and we're gonna move into a downward dog position. We wanna push those heads between those arms. And again, we're dropping those heels down to the mat as far as we can. Pedaling out, alternating. Good. And having a seat on ground. We're going to move onto those butts in a nice pike position, bringing those toes up to the sky, reaching up nice and tall again, and coming on down, reaching for those feet. Stretching out the back of those legs. And sitting nice up and tall, opening that chest up. We're switching those feet from pointing to flexing. Stretching out those ankles. And we're going to move ourselves into our last warm-up exercise, into the butterfly. Bringing those feet together, flapping those wings. If you'd like to lean forward over those feet, feel free. Or just continue that flapping. Awesome. If you're feeling all warmed up, then we're going to move into our mobility section. So we're going to move onto our hands and knees. We're going to go ahead and bring up our right hand. We want to open that up to the sky. We're following those fingertips with our eyes. And then we're going to bring that hand all the way through, dropping our head and shoulder down, extending our arm above. Good, and we're going to come back up, opening up that movement, and through again. You should be feeling a nice rotation in that back. We're going to go through a couple more of these. So opening on up and coming on through. Again, opening up that chest and coming through. one. Get a nice big stretch in that chest. Let the arm come back. And all the way through. Good. We're going to switch those arms now. So we're going to go on with that left arm, opening up that chest. Again, we're following those fingertips with our eyes. And we're dropping that head and shoulder down, extending that arm above. Good. Again, opening that chest up and through. And opening on up again. And going all the way through. And we've got two more. Opening that chest up and through. And last one. Opening up. And reach that arm as far as you can. Awesome. We are going to move into our next movement. So it's going to be a little bit of a sequence. We're going to incorporate that downward dog from our warm-up. When we are on those hands and knees starting out, we're going to pop up into that downward dog. We're going to reach across either to that knee or to that ankle. We're going to come back down onto those hands and knees, back up into that downward dog, and reaching again for that ankle or that knee. And continuing that movement. Now we want to make sure that downward dog, we're pushing that head between those arms. We're extending that back and reaching as far as we can. If the balance is hard at all, try opening those feet up. Keep it going, a couple more. Good, and go ahead and relax. We're gonna go ahead and stick out our left foot. Move ourselves into a low lunge. We're gonna drop that right hand down next to that foot. And we're gonna open up our chest in this lower lunge. Feel free to straighten out that back leg. And we're rotating up. If it's more comfortable, drop that knee. Or stay up. And we're gonna rotate that chest down to the mat and back up. Keeping that rotation going, moving at whatever pace is comfortable for you. And we're going to switch those legs. Let's bring that right leg forward now. We're going to place that left hand down next to that foot. And we're going to reach up with that right hand. Again, feel free to straighten that back leg. And we're rotating through, opening that chest up, and then making it even to the mat. Good. And go ahead and relax. We're going to have a seat down on those butts stick our left legs out, bring our right leg into us. And we're gonna do something called a pancake rotation. This one is definitely hard, but it's a good stretch. So I want you guys to push yourselves to that end range of motion, and then we're gonna switch out of it. So we're gonna put those hands just nice and relaxed behind that head. And we're gonna work on touching that elbow to that straightened knee. And we're switching directions. So that left elbow will touch that left knee. And then we're trying to get that right elbow to touch that left knee. So bending that side, and then we're rotating that chest down to that knee, back and forth. We're going to do a couple more and then we'll switch those sides. And last one. And let's bring that left leg in, point that right leg out. And again, we're going to touch that right elbow to that right knee. And then we're going to try to get that left elbow to that right knee. You might notice one side is better than the other, which is totally normal. But still working to get as far as you can to that knee. Still crossing back and forth. Should be feeling a lot of rotation in that spine and some nice stretching throughout those legs and that back. You've got just a couple more. One more rotational movement for that back. So we're going to move back to those knees. And again, those elbows are going to come into our face. We're going to wrap those hands back around that head. And we're going to touch those elbows down to the ground. Hanging out on those knees. We're going to rotate up. Switching back and forth from that left side to that right side. Working it as far up as you can. Feel free to move around that positioning, whatever feels the best on that lower body. Whether that's sitting back on those heels or being fully up. Just continuing that movement, rotating through. Good, and relaxing. We're gonna hang out on those knees. We're gonna move into our hip cars. So I'm gonna walk y'all through this one. We're gonna hang on that right leg to start. So on those hands and knees, we're gonna go ahead and pull that right knee up to our chest. We're then gonna bring it out to the side of our bodies, rotating it back, straightening out that leg, and bringing it back in. Not touching the ground, just coming straight back to that chest. Out again, around, back, straighten, and into that chest. So again, to that chest, out to the side, back behind us, straightening, and in. Continuing those circles. I want you guys to focus on those backs not moving. We just want to move that hip as far as your hip will let you come in and out. It can be a very small movement. Again, working on just that hip moving up to that chest, out to the side, back behind us. We straighten it and we bring it back in. Let's do about 2 more. Good. And we're going to switch on over to that left leg. Shake out anything that needs to. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to bring that left knee up to our chest, out to that side, back behind us. We're straightening and we're bringing it in, back out, behind, straighten, and in. Again, we're trying not to move that back, just that hip. And up to that chest, out to the side, back behind, and a nice little circle. Good. Keeping it going, we've got a couple more. Let's go for 2 more. Again, watching that back, keeping those circles going. Good. Go ahead and relax. Our last mobility, we're gonna go ahead and stick out our left leg. We're gonna move into our adductor rock backs. So we're gonna keep one knee bent. We wanna make sure that hip is over that knee. And we're straightening out our left leg. We're gonna drop on down to those hands or to those elbows. And we are just rocking that butt back to that heel. Moving through however feels comfortable on those hands, rocking back, or on those elbows. You can also put that toe up. And continue rocking that butt back to that heel. She's feeling a nice deep stretch on that inside left leg. Bringing that left leg in, we're gonna stick that right leg out, straight out to the side. Dropping onto those hands or those elbows. And we're rocking again, that butt back to that heel. Make those little adjustments. Again, you should be feeling this on that inside of that right thigh. And bringing that leg back in. Good work, y'all. You have made it through the mobility section. We're gonna move on into our stability section. So if you have that band, go ahead and grab it. If not, you can do everything anyways. We're gonna go ahead and put that band around those arches. And we're gonna move ourselves into a plank position. We're gonna pop ourselves up into that plank. And we're gonna bring those knees up to our chest. We're gonna go ahead and get started in about 3 seconds. Go ahead and get yourself set up, and we'll get going in 3, 2, 1. Popping up into that plank. And then bringing that knee on up to that chest, nice and slow. You want to make sure we're controlling that movement, keeping that core engaged. And 3, 2, 1, relax. Whew, good work, guys. We're gonna go do that one more time. Adjust that band if you need to. Feel free to drop the band or to change out your resistance if you have that. And we're gonna get started in 5 more seconds. And 3, 2, 1. Again, popping up into that plank. And we're bringing those knees to our chest. And relax on down. Good work. Go ahead and take a little breather, grab some water if you need it, and we're gonna take that band on off. We're gonna move it up onto our hands in just a second. All right, with this band, we're gonna put it right around our wrists. We're gonna make sure those elbows are staying right at our sides. They're not coming out or coming in. We're gonna pull that band apart so it is equal. And we're gonna raise up those arms at a nice 90-degree angle. We're only going up to right about eye level with that band, and then back down in. This whole time, we should be pulling apart that band. Do not let go of that resistance. And we're coming on up. Don't let those elbows come in or out. You should be feeling it in those shoulders, in that back. Keeping those elbows in. And those wrists pulling apart. You guys got it. And 3, 2, 1. Last one. Drop that band. Shake it out. We're gonna go through that one more time. In this next round, feel free to move around your stance. You can stay up on those knees or sit all the way down on the butt, whatever is comfortable. We can also straighten out those arms and come all the way up as well. Feel free to try both out, see which one you like better. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Shake out those arms in 3, 2, 1. Pulling apart that band again. Coming on up and back down. If you wanted to try out straightening those arms, put those arms right in front of you. We're still keeping that resistance on that band, and we're coming up. Making sure we're breathing through the motion. Moving through either of those movements. If we're up on those knees, make sure that core is engaged or we're not arching that back. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Drop that band. We are done with it for now. And shake out those arms. We're gonna move ourselves into a dead bug. So hanging out on those hands and knees. So sorry, we're moving into a bird dog. We're gonna do dead bugs after. I always get confused. We're gonna go into our bird dogs on those hands and knees. We're gonna go ahead and stick with one side at a time. So we're gonna stick out that right arm and that left knee. We're gonna come in, touching that elbow to the knee, and back out. We can also drop that hand and knee down and then come back out. Not touching all the way in the center, if that feels better for you. Working on that balance. We want to make sure when we bring that arm and leg up, we aren't arching that back. We're keeping ourselves nice and straight. So when we come out and in, that back should barely be moving. And we're keeping those breaths going. Again, figuring out which position is comfortable, whether we're touching in the middle or dropping down. You've got 3, 2, 1. Awesome. We're going to switch those sides now. So we're going to take that left arm and that right knee. And we're bringing them out and in. Again, those backs are staying straight. And we're either dropping to the mat and coming back out, or we're touching in the middle. And 3, 2, 1, relax. Good work, guys. We're gonna go ahead and move on into our dead bugs now. So we're basically doing what we just did, but on our backs, still alternating those hands and legs. Laying on down. We have those arms and those legs up. We are alternating side to side. Moving through, go ahead and get it started if you haven't already. We want to make sure that that stomach is staying glued into our spine. We're imagining we're zipping up a tight pair of pants. That back should be completely flat against the mat. And we're holding that positioning as we drop those arms and those legs. Making sure we're breathing. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead and come on up and relax. We are going to grab that band. Again, if you have it, we are wrapping that around our knees. We're going to move on into a clamshell. So we're going to turn onto that side. We want to make sure that our knee is about equal to where our hip is lined up. And we're going to come on down either onto that elbow or all the way down to that ground. And we are opening on up, keeping those hips stacked and moving through. We want to make sure at the top, when we come into that clamshell, we are squeezing that glute before we come on back down. If this is super easy and we want to try something else, or if you don't have a band with you, we can get rid of that band. We can pop ourselves up onto that hand or that elbow. Again, those feet are aligned with that hip, and we're opening up in that clamshell. When we do that, we are bringing those hips up and forward as we open, and back and down. So up and forward, open on up, close those legs as that butt comes down and back. Moving through. You can also leave that band on or continue doing those clamshells here. Whatever works the best for your body. So again, if we're doing this one, We're opening, that chest is staying up, and that butt's getting pushed back. Good. And go ahead and relax. We're going to switch those sides. Again, going back to whichever one is comfortable, either with that band on doing the clamshells, laying down, or we can get rid of the band and do the ones moving. Totally up to you. We're going to go ahead and get started on those, whichever you choose. But again, those feet should be about where your butt is lined up with a bend in those legs. And we're opening on up. Feel free to switch between two different variations. Try them all out. You should be feeling it in that glute. Good, and go ahead and relax. If you have that band, we're gonna grab it and we're gonna put it around those ankles. Moving on to those hands and knees. We're gonna keep this glute burn going on those hands and knees. We are gonna make sure those knees are at our hip width apart. And our knees are gonna stay implanted into that mat. Our toes are going to come out one side at a time and back in. So we're bringing that toe out, we're tapping it outside of our knee and back in before we alternate to the other side and back in. So coming in and out. When we bring that toe outside, we want to leave it there for a second or two before we bring it back in. Good, you should be feeling it in that glute. If you don't, try switching your resistance or making sure that those knees are staying glued to the mat and that we're not moving our back, we're just moving our hips. And go ahead and relax. We are going to fully stand on up. Again, if you have that band, we're going to bring it around those arches again. And we're going to work on those hip flexors and a little bit of that core and some balance. Feel free to move to a wall for this one, if there's one by you. We're going to make sure that our core is activated. We're just imagining that belly button coming into our spine. We're letting those arms hang out, and we're going to march on up, bringing the knee up, stepping back down, and switching. We should be feeling it in that front of our thigh. We want to make sure that foot stays flexed, so that band stays on. Or if you have like an ankle weight, you can add those on. And we're just alternating back and forth. Try to hold for a second at the top if you can. And again, feel free to move to a wall. Keeping it going, just a couple more. and get rid of that band. We are all done with our stability portion for today. Great work, y'all. We are going to move into our nice, easy flexibility and stretching out. So we're going to have a seat on down. We're going to move ourselves into a child's pose. So we're opening up those knees, and we're going to let our chest fall between them, sitting back on those heels. And we're just reaching out. Again, widen those knees if you need to get farther down. All the way over to our left side, and we're going to stretch out that right. And moving all the way over to our right side to stretch out that left. And we're going to move ourselves back onto those hands and knees, moving into a cat-cow. When we raise up those backs, we're bringing that head in, slightly rocking back, and just switching back and forth. And we're going to have the seat back onto those butts. We're going to cross over our right ankle on top of our left knee. And we're going to bring that ankle up to our butts. Stretching out that right glute and that right hip area. We can also move ourselves down on our backs and bring that leg into us, whatever is more comfortable. Good. We're going to switch those legs. So we're going to bring that left ankle on top of that right knee, and we're pulling it into us. Good. And if we haven't yet, we're going to lay onto those backs. We're going to cross our right knee over that body, stretching out those arms, letting a slight rotation on that lower back, and just relaxing, breathing through. bringing that left leg over. And coming on back out of that. You guys have made it through all portions of the ility class. Good work. I hope you all feel good and enjoyed all the mobility, stability, and flexibility parts. I wish y'all the best day, and thank you.